Hi, I'm George with Tupelo. Today we're going to be doing a listing review and how I would grow this business. We're going to be looking at an HVAC company that specializes in sheet metal and ductwork installation. Here we go. This is an HVAC contractor that specializes in installation, particularly custom sheet metal ductwork. The company is priced at $3.3 million. It generates $4.5 million in revenue, and SDE is $529,000. The HVAC industry is large, and it's expected to reach $134 billion by the end of 2025. If we look at top contractors in the Mid-Atlantic region, they're projected to generate $2.75 billion alone. And positively, the industry is growing. If we look at the Mid-Atlantic region specifically, growth is driven by commercial work, installations, growth in renovation projects, things like that. Diving into price analysis and looking at the quality of this deal, the business is priced at $3.3 million with an SDE of $529,000. This is a 6.24 multiple, which is on the high end. On average, HVAC companies are trading at an SDE range between 1.7 and 6.8. The higher in this range is generally attributed to companies that are larger and do a lot of service work. If we look at the industry's SDE margin as a whole, it's right around 20%. Companies that perform at 20% are more than 20% or better than 20%, generally trade at a higher multiple, particularly if SDE is north of $500,000. This company's SDE margin is 11.8% roughly, which is lower than the industry average. This is predominantly attributed to the type of work this business does, which is installation work only. Now, questions for the broker or the business owner. First and foremost, I want to know where revenue is coming from and who these customers are. Are they schools? Are they hospitals? Or what are they? And I want to get a breakdown of revenue by customer segment. Next, I want to look at these contracts to see what it looks like in the future, what I can expect in the future to make based on the pre-existing contracts. And I want to look at the transferability of these contracts to make sure that me, as a would-be willing buyer, could absorb those contracts. Next, I want to dive into business development. How is this business getting these contracts right now? Is it heavily reliant on the owner's relationship, or is there some sort of sales channels in place that are helping drive business? Next, I want to look at more at the work. Is all the installation being done prefab at facilities and then just installed, or is there a lot of custom work that's being done on site? Lastly, I want to confirm that my hypothesis is true about the margins of this business. Now, because of the nature of this business only doing installation work, my hypothesis is that the margins are lower than traditional HVAC work. But I need to dig into this just to confirm that my hypothesis is true. All right, once I own this business, how am I going to grow it? First and foremost, I'm going to look at doing the prefabrication work myself. Rather than outsourcing all the sheet metal work to start with, I'm going to see if there's a way that I can bring it in-house and that'll increase my margins. Next, I want to look at seeing if I can take on some service contracts. I know we have a lot of installation work, but one of the great things about the HVAC industry as a whole is their service nature to the work, and I want to make sure that this business can get some of that revenue. Looking at the business's systems, I want to make sure that the business is up to date and has adequate systems, things like Service Titan and things like that. If they're not already instituting, I want to institute into the business and make sure we're leveraging them to their capabilities. Lastly, I'm going to be aggressively growing the business by outreaching to prospective clients. This means putting a list together of hospitals, schools, manufacturing facilities out there and starting to reach out to them to let them know the type of work we do. Overall, this seems like a great business to dive into, but we need to get more information on this business, particularly the margins and the type of work that it's doing, to get clarity on, is this the right opportunity for us?